Take a breath, count to 10. Everything is as it should be. Everything will continue to be as it should be. The future has already happened. It did. It happened while you were sleeping. You missed everything. Shame, too. It was a real gas. Parties and orgies. I was blind for 3 days. Anyway, it's in the past again. You poor f***. It has been 1,346 days since we have been liberated, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, from the tyranny of freedom. This is your daily reminder of how good you have had it since the Artilian extraterrestrial invasion and subjugation 1,347 days ago, which succeeded after a battle with human forces lasting roughly 11 and a half minutes. All hail, Artilia. All hail the eyes in the sky. I am your host, Landon Harker, and here's how good you have it today. What is this? What? Yeah, okay, Lewis, for the last time, the reason you can hear me is because I am speaking into a microphone and you are listening to my voice through those headphones. Yeah. The ones on your ears. Yes, stop pointing. That is soundproof glass between us. This is a broadcast studio. I cannot hear you. Use the talkback. When? At the top of the show?
Yes.
No. At the top of the show, I do some human interest stories, sports, and people swallowing their own feet. Not this bullshit.
You left a message for you saying she wanted you to do a social media promo.
And if I refuse?
Remember, your bonus is tied to this.
They wouldn't dare. Get her on the phone. Get her on the phone.
What about the audience?
I don't fucking know. Play a song. And that was someone doing one of their songs, I suppose. Good, great. Well, are you serious? Don't just shrug, really. All due respect, are you somebody's cousin to be here? Use the talk back.
Yeah, I'm Paul McCartney's cousin.
Oh, really? Well, okay, that's impressive. From the Beatles days or Wings days?
Well, both. As far as I'm aware, there's only one Paul McCartney who was in both bands.
I'll be damned. All right, so what's the deal?
Management said you have to do the promo read.
Effective when?
Now.
All right. Okay, fine. I got it. Shut up. And I would just like to take this opportunity to remind you all that in addition to all of the great information you get on our show live every day, you can also follow us on both Instagram and Twitter. You know what? No, I won't do this. Because it's pointless, Lewis. This show is compulsory, so I don't have to pander to these morons. Brothers and sisters, instead of our usual show, let's have a little story time, okay? Get a stiff cocktail, sit somewhere comfortable, take your tits out, again, a comfort thing, and close your eyes. Picture pure evil. What is coming to mind? It likely depends on your culture, doesn't it? Where you were raised and what you may or may not believe. Don't worry, I have you covered. As you may know, in Christian theology, the devil is a fallen angel who rebelled against God and was cast out of heaven. He is portrayed as a malevolent entity who tempts humans to sin and ultimately seeks to lead them away from God. The devil is often depicted as having horns, a tail, and red skin. In Islamic theology, the devil is known as Iblis. He is believed to be a jinn, a creature made of smokeless fire who refused to bow down to Adam, the first human created by God. Iblis is portrayed as a tempter who tries to lead humans astray from the path of righteousness. In Hinduism, the devil is not a singular entity, but rather a collection of malevolent beings known as asuras. Asuras are often depicted as enemies. Asuras are often depicted as enemies of the gods and are associated with darkness, chaos, and ignorance. In Buddhism, the devil is not a personified entity, but rather a metaphor for the negative aspects of the human mind. The devil represents the ego, attachment, and ignorance, which are obstacles to spiritual enlightenment. And finally, in many African traditional religions, the devil is not a central figure, but rather a collection of malevolent spirits who believe to cause harm and misfortune. These spirits are often associated with witchcraft and sorcery. And then again, you may be more correct, such as myself, and be an atheist, which would stand to reason, as we have been subjugated by an alien force not present in any religious text. Anyway, for most of us on this, the correct side of the fence, you might find evil more in the mortal realm. Stalin, Pol Pot, Hitler, Bundy, Captain Kangaroo. It shall likely come as no surprise to any of you that you're wrong. And, by implication, stupid. But I don't blame you, comrades. Most of you are just not up to the challenge of looking the beast in the eyes and living to tell the story. How does one confront evil, friends? What depths must be plumbed? And how does one brace against all that is vile and tainted? O wretched evil, thou art a plague that ravages the heart and mind of man. Thou art a shadow that doth overhang the path of life and poison all that's grand. Thou art a serpent that doth coil and hiss, a viper that doth bite and sting with venom. Thou art a treacherous foe that doth persist, a specter that doth haunt and vex all men. Thou art the source of all that's base and vile, a lurking menace that doth seek to snare the soul of man and tempt him to defile his noble spirit with thy foul despair. But though thou art a dark and fearsome thing, thou hast no power over the pure of heart. For they, with faith and courage, can take wing and soar above thy reach to realms apart. So let us, in the face of thy dark might, hold fast to what is good and true and right. For the devil does not come of red skin and hooves and horns. The devil comes in disguise and reaches deep into your spirit and beguiles you, all blonde and blue-eyed, and before you know it well, you've lost your soul and you are damned. What is the better evil, friends? The evil you know or the evil you do not know? Again, your answers may vary. But the evil I know is named Katherine Andover, this station's social media manager. And at her name the heavens did weep. Okay, that may have been a sound effect, but still. For some background, those of you paying attention in the early 20s may recall that before our Artillian overlords completed a subjugation of humanity, one was earlier attempted by Zuckerberg, Musk, and several shadowy entities with no connection whatsoever to the Chinese Communist Party. And while the damage done via social media networks is undeniable and was arguably more destabilizing than an alien invasion, the takeover could not be completed. Those men of power who sought what they thought was a hostile takeover were missing one important tool that all the money in this world could not buy, namely, the power to summarily execute insurgents with their minds, like an Artillian. Post-invasion and subjugation, you may recall that Zuckerberg, Musk, and certain proxies for some organization that was definitely not the Chinese Communist Party were executed, and that execution was broadcast live via Facebook. They were strapped to chairs and their eyes held open, Clockwork Orange style. They were denied food and water and forced to watch their respective testimonies before congressional subcommittees until they expired. Musk held out the longest at 103 hours, and he was a little bitch for every single second of it. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok were all left intact as the Artillian division of propaganda realized that this would make their jobs infinitely easier. Which brings me to Katherine Andover. She who has attempted to force upon me, your humble host, all manner of humiliating and servile tasks associated with audience outreach and retention. Would you like to hear the voice of evil, friends? Do you think you can handle it? Lewis, my friend, play one of the voicemails. What? What? Again, use the f***ing talkback. The glass is soundproof.
I don't think that's a good idea. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Whatever one is closest at hand, just play it.
Hey Landon, it's Katherine. First, I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed yesterday's show. You were really amazing. Really, I think you found your stride. Let's make sure to keep the momentum going. Maybe you could post a picture of your lunch on IG. Maybe a funny thought on Twitter. You're so funny. Kate, good luck tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.
Sweet, chipper, perky, fine. I don't say no. But you have to listen with more than your ears, comrades. Listen between the lines, and let's focus on the substance of that message. Post a picture of my lunch. My lunch. My lunch is, first of all, I cannot fathom why any of you would be interested in what I had for lunch, aside from the fact that I am now the most interesting man on the planet. Yes, good, we'll take that as read. But when and what I eat and whether or not every meal consists of the finest cuts of beef ever grown in sterile laboratories in the former Soviet Union with sides of the last specimen of different endangered species is none of anyone's concern. Secondly, maybe a funny thought on Twitter. Maybe a funny thought, she says, as though they are a dime a dozen and I can just toss them off willy-nilly at Katherine Andover's direction. Simple as that. Ready, set, be funny. Well, first of all, Beelzebub, let me tell you three things. This isn't a comedy show. This is a news and current events program. What cities haven't been destroyed? What people have not been summarily executed by Artillians using only their minds? What is it like to have a global food surplus? How good have we had it since we were subjugated? You know, news. I will grant that there may be something about my speaking voice, intonation, and delivery that people find humorous, but if you are laughing, that is incidental and a mistake on your part, and you will be punished swiftly and harshly. And before anyone thinks me stuck in the past, let me be completely upfront. It is not that I feel intimidated or angered at the idea of having to take direction of any kind from a woman, okay? I mean, it certainly doesn't help, but I'm not a Neanderthal. I believe that women are just as capable as any man of up a job I assigned to them so severely as to appear as if they were attempting to do precisely the opposite of what I ordered. It is not about gender. It is about motivation and intelligence, or the lack thereof. Yes, Lewis, I am looking at you, sir. Play the next voicemail.
Landon, it's Katherine. Just calling to say good luck tomorrow. I've been making 30-second clips I'm calling highlights and posting them on social media. People are loving them. But of course they are. It's your voice. Okay, bye.
Do you feel that, comrades? You do, don't you? That hot lead in the center of your chests. Fear not. That is a symptom of staring into the abyss for too long. For when you stare into the abyss stares back into you. Incidentally, I have been told the abyss was Katherine Andover's nickname in high school. Why she would have been compared to a bottomless hole into which anything can be fit and lost forever, well, I'm sure I don't know. Simply a mystery for the ages, and I am ordering each and every one of you to not take to social media and post messages at her accounts, calling her the abyss. Don't do it. Really. I mean it. I realize you cannot see me, so I will just say aloud, wink. Suffice it to say, Miss Andover and I are now officially at war, and while she may have legions of meme-posting mouth breathers at her disposal, I have literal armies. The ground will tremble under their feet, and they shall drink the rivers dry as they march, ever cleaning blood from their bayonets and pushing, moving, charging ever towards victory. No matter the obstacle, no matter the opposing forces, we shall conquer once again. Mark my words. Oh, and this just in. Apparently, France is on fire. All of it. Really, you can see it from space. Just a France-shaped oblong of raging flame. My guess is this is the result of some sort of accident, despite the fact that there are no accidents on New Artilia. I'm sure you'll remember that the Artilians are big fans of the French. Anyway, more on that next time. All hail, Artilia. All hail the eyes in the sky. All is well, all is well. Lewis, my producer, likely couldn't manage to shoot a single fish in a barrel, even if they were already dead. In simpler times, I would have mocked him at this point with what we used to call the, quote, hard voice, but that's no longer appropriate. And looking at him through the glass now, I can see him all mad and stupid. I've been shot, friends, by Lewis McCartney. The glass is soundproof no longer. Godspeed. Mayhem is a Wetwork Media production starring Landon Harker. It is written and produced by Dan Lauer. All music is provided courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. To learn more, visit incompetech.com.